Well. Hello. Um, Thank you for joining me for my evening tea. Um, I hope that all of this is being recorded because I really like tiny mics, and so I really wanted to do a podcast or, I don't even know what this is, to be honest. It's just talking to myself. Let's call it what it is. Anyways, so this is the first epi, and don't know what I'm going to title it. Maybe, I don't know. Anyways, I have a bunch of things I wanted to talk about today. Um, so yeah, let's just get started. And today I'm drinking some, I believe, Whole Foods lemon myrtle tea. It tastes okay. I'm having a really hard time with teas because I want to reduce my sugar intake, but teas also kind of taste like ass without the sugar for me. But I heard the more you drink teas without sugar, the better they taste. So I'm trying. I'm trying. Okay? Yeah. Um, Anyways, so as I was saying, I have an array of topics to get into today. So where do I want to start? I guess I want to start with AI. AI is everywhere these days, and one thing about it, everyone knows about it, but not everyone understands it. And I feel like that's a lot of things in the world, to be honest. Um, and a few people don't even know what AI stands for still. So it shows that like it's still in this very weird beginning phase. But the capitalists, they're really drawing like AI close to them and running with it, trying to make that money. Because everywhere you go, you see, oh my gosh, it's an AI photo editor, um, AI grammar sites, AI website maker. Like, AI making art, making music. Um, and I do think AI is here to stay. I don't, but the controversial part of me, which may or may not be wrong, we'll have to see in the future, but I believe AI in its commercial setting, such as maybe not ChatGPT, but things um, just all these crop ups of AI trying to make its way into our mainstream. I don't think it's gonna stay. Um, I think it's all cash grabs. That's what I think. But I also really don't use AI as much because I still like to learn and do things for myself as much as I can. I do understand people using AI so that they can have more time to themselves to be able to do other things. I also think there's like the societal, ethical parts of AI that I'm a little wonky on. Like, um, I know GPT, its first round of iteration, a lot of the content moderation came out of human rights violations in select African countries. I'm not sure which ones. I'll have to look it up, and I would try and put the source here. But besides that, Biden recently just did an executive order, I believe, around AI. So that would be interesting to see. That's the first time I've seen the government actually take technology serious, and I'm surprised it's coming from Biden because I worry about that man and his health and his just yeah. I worry about his health. So yeah, I think AI is a good time for the capitalist, but another question that I don't have the answer to right now is AI trickling down, and will it be an advantage to the lower class um, or working class people, or will it continue to disadvantage lower class people when we think about technology, who has access to it, who gains power from it, things like that. So that is another question to be answered, I guess. Yeah. So anything. That was my first topic about AI. I'd love to hear what others think about it too. So next is Keith Lee in Atlanta. Keith Lee, I feel bad that he was ran out of Atlanta. That is quite yikes that anyone would care that much about food to the point that they're trying to kill somebody because they have a differing opinion of it. Really shows the state of this nation when it comes to differing opinions. And I don't mean on things like racism, sexism, uh, homophobia, transphobia, things like that. Opinions matter and they hurt people. But things like food, let's calm down. And it's really something interesting in the black community because yeah, our the way we treat black businesses is interesting where I have this qualm a lot. Sometimes, for instance, I went to this black art fair here where I live in the city and um it was ass. I'm gonna be honest. It sucked. And I was pissed off because, I like to support black businesses. I do. But I don't want to support you when you're mediocre. I just don't. I just want to support any business that's mediocre. And so why do we feel like we can excuse and still patronize and um not patronize or like go to and support businesses that are not doing well? Like, and I think that's what Keith Lee exposes that screaming. So I just filmed all of that and my microphone wasn't on anymore. Scream. Anyways, so I guess I gotta go back to Keith Lee. Anyways, I was saying Keith Lee exposes basically how we need to hold black businesses just as accountable as any other business we hold accountable. But how do we do that in a caring way, in a way that doesn't, destroy the business, but in a way it's like, hey, I really want to see you succeed. I really want to prop you up. I really want to give my monies to you, but you got to get it together because that's it. And a primary time for that is I went, well, another story time. I went to a salon a couple months ago to get a silk press, and I had to, do the appointment online, and I got a 2 p.m. appointment. So I walk in, and nobody said hello. Nobody said hi. How can we help you? What are you here for? Just silence, just silent doing hair. So I went and I sat on the couch and I was waiting and waiting. I waited 2 hours. Ain't nobody spoke to me. Ain't nobody was like, that girl been sitting there 2 hours. I wonder what she needs. Um, So, and also, I do recognize it's partially on me to say something too, because I am the one that sat there for 2 hours. So I should have said something way sooner. But this is just like a peak example of a girl is sitting there for 2 hours and ain't nobody said one word to me. And then I finally stood up and said, "Hey, is the person here? Like, I'm supposed to be getting a silk press." And this other black woman was like, "Oh no, I'm so sorry. She's not here. She's on vacation." Now, if you knew you was gonna be on vacation, why you leave your calendar open? And so, but the other black woman, she was so sweet. She was like, "Oh, but I can take you on after this client." And she had been standing for so long. I was like, "Listen, I'm not gonna overwork you. This is not priority. Like, I will come back another day." And so that's what I did. But just like in another example, I should have held that business accountable as well. So I should get better at that too. Yeah, I spent a way longer time talking about this topic on the other clip, but now I see why YouTubers get frustrated sometimes because my mic just went out. So now we're going to go to the next topic, which is Hamilton. And I know I'm really late to the topic. I do. I recognize it and I embrace it because I didn't have Disney Plus and I sure didn't have no like money to go see it live. So yeah, it was nice. I saw it a couple of weeks ago with my aunt, and on Disney Plus. I'm acting like I saw it in person, but it really was an experience where I did feel like I was there in person at the same time. But anyways, as it really Hamilton's sparked some creativity in me because Lin Manuel, he was in his bag when he created Hamilton, and it's funny because apparently a lot of people didn't appreciate it. You know, they thought it was cringe at first, like when he first created it, but then people came on board slowly and slowly, and now it's this huge thing that everyone will always know about. And it just really gets me thinking about creativity and cringe, and how do we get through the cringe to create things that we want to create no matter what anyone thinks. Even though as artists you want to make sure you're creating for other people, and so you do want them to like it, but it's like a fine balance between other people liking your art and you yourself liking your art, you know? Um, so that kind of sparked that part of me. The other part of me, as I was watching Hamilton, yes, I love that he cast a very racially diverse cast. That was great. And they do kind of mention words of abolition and ending slavery and enslavement in America. But two things give me pause about Hamilton. The nation hadn't formed yet, and I think it's interesting that he like kind of maneuvered Hamilton as an immigrant. Um, when Hamilton is a settler of the nation, he's a colonizer. He is a settler because while they're out there fighting for independence from Britain, it's a colony. These are colonizers. So I do take a little bit of like pause with the fact that he kind of touts Hamilton and Lafayette as immigrants rather than settlers. Um, so yeah, I don't know. That part is iffy because I do feel like it's a little bit of indigenous erasure. Um, Not to say I don't support immigrants or like what they've done for the United States since its founding. You know, like this country is built on immigrants and Black folks. Period. Um, and so yeah, so that was interesting. I do wish that there was more acknowledgement of indigenous folks in Hamilton, and so it does very much feel like a little bit of indigenous erasure, Lynn. So I don't like that. But overall, I think it's a really well done musical. I'm still bopping to the tunes. Like satisfied musical lyricist genius. I don't care what anybody says. That man, I gotta give him a props there. Next, biographies. Yeah, I've recently gotten into biographies, and it's another way of I think sparking my creativity because just hearing what other people have gone through and how they kind of navigated their life, and also seeing a life come together into a book. Like, we think of these little moments, but we don't really think about the through line. And I think what biographies do is really you're thinking about the life and its independent moments and creating this. I don't know what this is, but you're creating this like painting of a mosaic of every piece of your life coming together and how it all came to a head or an end or something like that. Or it could even still be going. I think those are the other fascinating biographies, the ones that the people are still here and alive. Which also, yeah, biographies are interesting because my grandmother passed a couple weeks ago and we wrote her obituary, and it was just so fascinating to think about, like reflecting on all the pieces of her life and the tapestry that she created of life, and how she has like the tapestry is still continuing through her descendants. And I just think that's such a beautiful thing to think of life as a tapestry, a never ending tapestry. So that's my little blurb on biographies. Next, I want to talk about George Carlin. Also, again, like Hamilton, very late to the game on this man. Rest in peace. He's been gone for quite a while, but I do mostly enjoy his takes and his comedy. A lot of people allowed him as a comedic genius, which I can kind of see. I I don't know how you gauge comedy because I'm gonna be honest, sometimes he doesn't make me laugh, but he does make me think. So is he more of a comedian or a philosopher? I'm not sure. I do like his stints on religion though. I do think those are kind of funny. I'm like, haha, funny. Not interesting, absurd, funny, you know? Yeah, anyways, but another thing I noticed about George is he wore the same kind of uniform. And I'm also obsessed with uniforms and the fact that it kind of takes away the decision fatigue for everything else in your life. If you can just focus on your creativity, what you're trying to put out, and then it's like what outfit you put on is the last thing you have to think about. And yeah, I don't know if that's what George was going for when he kind of had that uniform because I did notice in every single one of his stand ups, he was just wearing like a black t-shirt or a black long sleeve, black slacks, and some tennis shoes. And I was like, that's a word. So I kind of enjoy the uniforms and what they can do for someone's creative practice. And so I kind of want to try that out. I'm trying to try it out now. So I love these overalls and they do put me in like a creative spirit. So maybe I'll wear these overalls every single time I record an episode. But then like when I go to the thumbnail, maybe it'll look weird. I don't know. We'll see. But I do enjoy a good uniform. Yeah. Anyways, that was a weird ramble. Next, let's talk about Megan the Stallion and her new song Cobra. Oh my gosh. I don't know who I was watching. It might have been Adrian Expression. But when he said that it was like a rock, not a rock and roll, but a rap and roll song, I was like, 100% yes. Those guitars, chef kiss it. Like, Megan did not come to play and she aired people out as she should have. Um, and I guess I also do appreciate her mentioning her suicidal ideation because I, and especially in the black community, I don't think we talk about suicidal ideation enough. It's always, you should be happy, like the sun is shining, like just move on. Don't think about it. But it doesn't do anything for anyone to just say move on. And so I really, really appreciate her bringing up her suicidal ideation and her depression and how she's trying to deal with that. Because I was like, girl, same. It's hard out here. I'm just trying to survive. And to see that Megan Thee Stallion, what did she say? She was like, it's crazy that someone this blessed could be suicidal. And I was like, yeah, that is wild because it just shows the money isn't everything. And the fame and the power doesn't equate to a happy life. And it also makes me think of Anthony Bourdain and I'm forgetting the other Robin Williams, I believe, also committed suicide. And then Twitch. So yeah, I'm always gonna be an advocate for talking about suicidal ideation, and I think the media's weird obsession with blocking the word, I'm not a fan. I don't like when people say, yeah, she unalived herself, um, or they unalived herself, or yeah, things like that, or suicide. Like, that shit is so stupid. Let's just be real about it because people are going to do it whether you talk about it, whether you don't talk about it, whether you say fucking, oh, she unalived herself, or she's sewer slide. Like, just be real. I'm tired of the media sending us in this weird direction as something that going back to George Carlin that he kind of talks about, we've softened language. And I really believe that we're softening language here where it does not need to be softened. We need to be hardlined about what it is, and why people are doing it, because it's going up every year in this country, and for many reasons. Because it's becoming highly unsustainable. It always has been for many groups of folks, but even among men and white folks, it has become an untenable just tragedy in this country, and it's reflecting in our suicide rates. So I hope we can continue to talk about this topic, and I'm really proud of Megan for talking about it. So to close out this audio vlog, whatever the hell I'ma call it, and I don't know why now I'm talking in Southern accent. I may be from the South, but I never had an accent. But anyways, the last thing I wanted to talk about is this book, The Odyssey. So I decided I want to challenge myself to read The Odyssey for this last 3 months of the year. I don't think I'm going to finish it in this year because it's so freaking long and I can barely get through the intro. But apparently this woman, like, her translation is so, like, good. Like this person in the back, a revelation. Never have I been so aware at once of the beauty of the poetry, the physicality of Homer's world, and the moral ambiguity of those who inhabited it. Susan Chera, um, New York Times Book Review, and like all these other folks are like, yeah, the way that this woman Emily Wilson translates classics is just bar none. So I was like, well, shit, I have a hard time with classics, so why not read her translation and see what I think about it? Because I love Greek mythology. I think it's such a fascinating um, mythology and all of the different stories and things like that. So yeah, hopefully I'll be able to do a video about it one day. Um, yeah, so that was all my topics for today. I hope you enjoyed it. I was kind of all over the place at some points. I kind of want this audio message to be like Trisha Paytas um podcast, because her podcasts are like 3 hours long of her just talking shit, and I low key love it. Like, yeah, it's just so authentic and real. And yes, Trisha, she is problematic. I know that. But her podcast is highly entertaining. And so I guess that's the inspo I'm going for here. So anyways, see you next time. Thank you for listening.